And welcome to the 2021 Motorsport UK British Rallycross Championship Five Nations Trophy presented by Cooper Tyres. And what a season we have in store, with rounds taking place in Ireland, Scotland, Wales and Belgium. And of course a season opener here at the fabulous Lydden Hill, that is the home of British Rallycross. It's a seriously impressive entry list this season. And I think given the last 12 months or so, teams, drivers and indeed fans alike are so excited to go racing. Well, this is today's modern supercar, a beast in itself, and fantastic to see that #1 because, of course, Mark Donnelly defending his title in 2021. So let's hand over to our commentator, David Addison.
Thanks, Sam. Grid lined up, ready to go then. The first of the two semi-finals, and Mark Donnelly makes a tremendous start from pole position. Andy Scott goes with him from the middle of the front rows. They dive down towards Chessons for the first time to the Joker lap. On the outside goes former British champion Ollie O'Donovan. Now, is that going to be the right move, get it out of the way early, or is it going to be the wrong move? Do you need to stay out late, try and build a gap, and Joker right at the very end? We'll see. Donnelly leads, heading up Harry Hill for the first time. He's got Andy Scott, a very welcome returning driver to the championship, right behind him, right alongside him and past him. Scott goes through, Scott goes wide, and Donnelly hits the front once more. Brilliant racing, gets his lead back. Scott all over the grass. It's Derek Tohill, the Irishman, in third, as they dive down through paddock. End of lap one, Donnelly sideways, kicks the dirt into the face of Andy Scott, and they dive back onto the tarmac now. Scott serves the Joker. You have to do at least once in the race that Joker lap, which is the longer, slower line, just to shuffle around the order of the strategy as well. Scott's car stranded by the side of the road. What's happened there? Andy Scott off the road, door open. And let's have a look on board from Ollie O'Donovan. There's Scott to the left, comes back onto the line, and bang! Ollie O'Donovan catches the back of it. That spears Andy Scott off the circuit. So Mark Donnelly it is who leads the way. Second now is Derek Tohill, but that's a big gap between the two. Triple Irish champion Derek Tohill, he's shone in Europe as well. But can he do anything now about the race leader? He's also got to get his Joker out of the way. Through that chicane, over the jump. Ollie O'Donovan goes ahead of Tohill, but the reigning champion, Mark Donnelly, after that difficult season of 2020, he certainly showed his class. He's away and gone up the road. Hustles the car through the hairpin. Drops downhill, this really steep drop down towards paddock, hit the brakes, the nose drops onto the ground. Turn in, but back comes out, maintain that momentum all the time, as this is the battle now for second place. Ollie O'Donovan versus Derek Tohill. They had some fierce battles a couple of years ago. It looks as though another one might be about to kick off here, because the gap's coming down between them as Andy Scott battles on, trying to get to the end, trying therefore to qualify for the final. In a sense, the semis aren't about your speed, your result. It's about keeping out of trouble and progressing to the next round, the all-important final. So GB1 proudly carried on the side of the car. This is the race leader. This is Mark Donnelly. He was fastest in Q2 and Q3. Andy Scott was fastest in the first round of qualifying heats. But I just fear that something is not necessarily all right with Donnelly's car. Just occasionally, as it loads up, you see a little wisp of smoke from the front left corner there. O'Donovan chases in second, third still Tohill, and that gap is coming down a little between the top two. Mark Donnelly then, round Chessons Drift, less slippy, less dusty, less chalky than it ever used to be, and then you hit the tarmac once again. Ollie O'Donovan is second and bringing down that gap. If the leader has got a problem, this will be a real test. Can he drive around it? You can see the way the gap's coming down and down and down. The way that Donnelly is driving, he's no longer using all of the road. There's a little bit of the guard, the inner guard, flapping on the front left corner. But now Ollie O'Donovan, double OD, is very definitely taking the battle to the leader. The gap's coming down. He might run out of time, but he's certainly not giving up. To the line they come. Through goes Donnelly, through all over the curb goes O'Donovan. Derek Tohill third, but surprisingly not being able to stay with them, not matching their pace. And Andy Scott, after his big delay early on, the Albertech racing driver, battles on to the end. Through the devil's elbow goes Mark Donnelly, with Ollie O'Donovan almost with him now. From the rallyman, Donnelly goes up Harry Hill. He's also got Andy Scott, I think, not that far ahead of him now, so factor into the equation as well. So he darts round Scott. O'Donovan is getting closer all the time. Into paddock, turn right. Can Ollie O'Donovan strike? He's almost there as they come once more through the chicane. There's the checkered flag. Mark Donnelly hangs on to take the win. Second, Ollie O'Donovan, but it was a close run thing.
Thanks, David. So all eyes this weekend are, of course, on the supercars. Now, there are two semi-finals, of course, and the winner of the first is our reigning champ, Mark Donnelly. Well done, but I have a feeling something went a little bit askew there. What happened?
Yeah, with just about 2 laps to go, just something broke in the car, and I actually thought I had like 2 punctures. It was so hard to drive, and I knew there was something wrong, but I didn't think it was that serious, so I just managed to get it to the end. But you know, we've investigated it further. Unfortunately, that's us out now, so it's just too much damage, and we can't get it fixed in time. So it's such a shame after a really good day, but hey, that's the way it goes sometimes.
I guess grabbing the positives, it just goes to show your unbelievable pace, because you were pretty dominant out there.
Yeah, I think I managed just to keep my nose clean today. I didn't get caught up in any real battles, so you know, lucky enough, grid positions fell in my favour today as well. So no, it was good. It's just a shame we couldn't have seen it through to the end.
Well, I'm just catching up with Andy Scott. Funny enough, I thought I'd find you over here. Talk me through what happened in that semi-final.
Yeah, obviously I was second on the first lap, and thought the plan was to take the Joker to cover off Ollie, who was coming from behind. I felt I had track position. We were making our way back across the racing line, and obviously some contact with Ollie, which was disappointing. It's put me out of the race. I think we've had a fast package this weekend. Okay, maybe I'm a bit rusty. I made some small mistakes, but I felt confident we could pull it all together and pull a win off. I mean, we had the lap times in all the races. All right, didn't convert them into results each time, but yeah, very disappointed not to be part of the show, part of the final.
And I see that you and Ollie have just had a look back at that incident, looking at the footage. What's your making of it?
Funny enough, we both have different opinions on what happened.
Why doesn't that surprise
there
me?
You go.
Well, look who I found. Ollie O'Donovan. Ollie, armed with your laptop there, because we have to talk about a pretty eventful semi-final. What happened?
It was a pity Andy and myself came together to merge off the Joker lap. You know, I was on the main track, Andy came off the Joker. The rule says main track has right away. Andy probably needed another meter. He did close the gap and we made contact. It's a pity really, because if anything it's a 50-50 situation, and you know, if Andy had spun and kept going, great, but he lost too much time and didn't qualify. But you know, we finished the race, but I think these boys are struggling to put the car back together.
But most disappointingly, I mean, we're robbing people of a chance to see a good race. I mean, there's some quick cars here. I'm enjoying being back here, and I just wanted to be part of it. You know, it's been the final, whether I finish first to sixth, being part of it and putting a show on for everybody was why we come. You know, a lot of spectators here in these current situations. They're all looking for a bit of fun after being locked down, so I was wanting to give it them.
Well, thanks, Andy. Bad luck to you, but great to have you back here in the championship.
Thank you.
So on to the second semi-final, and it's a win for this man alongside me here, Julian Godfrey. Julian, talk me through it. You must be delighted with that way to kick-start the season opener.
Yeah, no, it went very well in the semi-final. I hit the curb quite hard and bent the steering on, I think, the second lap. So that's why I jokered quite early, because I was struggling on the pace. but managed to keep Tristan behind me. And I was quite lucky in the second semi-final, maybe an easier heat as well, which helped me a little bit. But we're all fixed now and we're ready for the final.
Must be so nice to be back out there racing again.
Yeah, no, it is really good. No, I'm enjoying it. It's been 6 months since been out in the car, and it's nice to actually come out on a nice sunny day and enjoy it.
Weather's certainly playing its part, isn't it? So all ready to rock them for the final? How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, no, I'm feeling fairly confident. I just heard that Mark's got a bit of problem with his car, so he's going to go out to the grid, but he's got broken suspension on it, so he's going to have to take it easy. So that's helped me a little bit. I'm not sure where I'm on the grid yet. I haven't seen the grid sheet yet for the final, but hopefully I'm not there on the front row.
You're a cool customer. You're taking it all in your stride with the tactics, I see.
Yeah, no, I'm very, very calm. I don't get wound up. I'm out there looking after all my competitors, downloading all their data and making sure their cars are all good. So, no, I just come out and enjoy myself, really. And we need the other cars there to race against, so I help them along, make sure theirs are running good, and keep an eye on mine as well, and have a good time.
So this is what we've been waiting for, the finals. The supercars will feature at the end of our programme, but first let's focus on the Super 1600s, and over to David.
The grid is formed then for the Super 1600 final. Sadly, though, we are missing the driver as the lights go to green that has been fastest in Q1 and Q2. Darren Scott has a broken oil sensor, so really one of the fastest men in the category has to sit out the final, and that means that 51, the Belgian driver Nick Snoeys, leads the way. Opposition from Craig Lomax and Phil Chicken. There is Phil Chicken in the Citroën C2, but Nick Snoeys is getting away, building that gap as they come down towards paddock. Phil Chicken goes for the joker. That gives Lomax second place back now as they head into Chessons. The gap is not exactly a massive one between the pair of them, but Nick Snoeys looks as though he's done enough. Uphill for the last time. Nick Snoeys then has made the trip across the channel well worthwhile. He is on target to take race honours here. He comes through the hairpin, and the Ford is about to accelerate its way downhill. These very exciting sounding Super 1600s. It's just a shame we haven't got a few more of them, but it's a category really popular on the continent, and if they can start to travel more freely, it would really help. The checkered flag is at the ready, and honours in the first Super 1600 round of the season go to Nick Snoeys, second Craig Lomax, and it's Phil Chicken who takes third place with just over a couple of seconds the margin, Snoeys to Lomax at flagfall.
Well, let's turn our attentions now to the RX 150s, and once again, it's over to David.
The grid is formed, and Patrick O'Donovan is the man on pole position, and he has been the dominant driver through qualifying, fastest in Q1, Q2 and Q3 as the lights go to green. O'Donovan makes a good start, breaks clear, or does he? The opposition alongside, in fact, as they hit the loose at Chessons for the first time. But Patrick O'Donovan, son of supercar racer Ollie O'Donovan, is the race leader. It is Mark Scott tucked up behind him. And after a bad getaway, Ewan McGuinness trying to play catch up as well as the leaders dive down towards the Devil's Elbow for the first time. In 101, James Laverty, and he is right there on the back of Scott. That's POD. Patrick O'Donovan is the man just ahead at the moment then as the cars turn their way to the Chessons Drift loose once more. That gap is widening, although O'Donovan goes out a little bit wide. Further back, Ewan McGuinness in a battle. This is O'Donovan, the race leader. Down towards paddock he comes. Through the dust, the two race leaders, James Laverty, the man chasing on behind as the cars come then now down towards the Devil's Elbow once more. James Laverty, new to RX 150s, but going really impressively here. Across the loose goes Laverty. O'Donovan not getting as sideways as others. He's driving neatly, he's driving smoothly, and he's about to come now down through the chicane at paddock once more. James Laverty, Billy Alexander, the drivers doing the chasing. Mark Scott dropping away just a little in terms of his lap times now. Up front though, Patrick O'Donovan is looking good. What's going on lower down the order? Well, there you can see in 128 the recovering Ewan McGuinness after that very slow start. A drama there, that was Mark Scott. So as the checkered flag is waved, Mark Scott and also Steve Jones, the reigning champion, both out of the race. Looks like both have got mechanical dramas. Bit of flame to be attended to there for Steve Jones, but high drama right at the very end of the race. So we lose Mark Scott, whose father Andy has had a bit of a torrid time in the Supercar semi-finals as well. We lose Steve Jones, but confirmation, Patrick O'Donovan takes the win from James Laverty and Billy Alexander, with Ewan McGuinness coming home in 4th place. So a good start to the day for the O'Donovans. Patrick dominating RX 150s. Now the pressure's on his dad for the Supercars.
Well, what a day it's proving to be for the O'Donovan family, because now Patrick O'Donovan winning in the RX 150s. Huge congratulations. Talk me through that race then.
Oh, thank you very much. Oh, it's been mega. I mean, crazy competition from Mark Scott for the first 2 laps, and then as soon as I went into the Joker, I managed to beat him out, and then I think he had issues after that. But, oh, in the heat, I'm tired.
Come on now, Patrick, tell me what it's like racing one of these amazing machines around the home of Rallycross.
Oh, it's crazy. I mean, sideways everywhere and just sending it. The speed's insane. It's a big step up from a junior car, and it's a good step.
It is a big step, but fair play to you. Bagging the silverware in the opening round, that certainly bodes well for the rest of the season, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I couldn't be happy with how today's gone. And I mean, hopefully we can have a little bit of a repeat on Monday, touch wood. But yeah, no, it was really, really good day.
The grid is formed for the Swift Sport Rallycross Championship final. One mate Rallycross, relatively low cost, always good racing. And the yellow car on pole position is that of James Chisman. Pink car, Luke Constantine. First time in the senior Swift with him at the front of the grid, but there is a false start. Those red lights flicker, meaning somebody has crept, somebody has jumped, somebody has broken the beam, so we go again. The grid is lined up. Everybody set for the start then. Take 2 of the Swift Sport Rallycross Championship final. The ready to race symbol is on. Now we want the green light, which blinks. We go racing. Front wheel drive traction kicks in, the cars scrabble away from the line. 6 laps, the final, and with his nose just in front on the outside is Luke Constantine, but James Chisman has got the tighter inside, but Constantine it is who comes out ahead as they dance their way across the loose for the first time of asking. On the power, on the tarmac now. 1 or 2 go for the Joker, and there's contact there as Don McLeod gets fired off the road. Way out in the weeds on the inside of Chessons. He'll get himself back onto the circuit, but a lot of time lost there. The field then pours its way through the hairpin for the first time, but look at this for the race lead. They could not be closer. Luke Constantine is just ahead of James Chisman as they drop downhill. It's David Watt running in 3rd place. Another man to watch in this is going to be 23, Max Weatherly, making a welcome return to the championship, having sat out last year, and there he is. Now he jokered early, so he's way down the order, but some of those places should come back to him as this 6 lapper unwinds. James Chisman was the man that was quickest in Q1 and Q2, Luke Constantine quickest in Q3, and he's the man in charge now as the cars come across the run down the Dover slope into the Devil's Elbow. Constantine is just, I would offer you, edging away slightly. That gap has gone up to about 3 lengths, hasn't it, as they come now up the hill. Luke Constantine, who has been one of the dominant drivers within junior rallycross over the last few seasons. He's got his cousin James on the grid, who was the runner-up in the championship last year. But downhill, they drop for the race lead. And there, James Chisman, another man returning after a season away, he's bringing down the gap. He's just chipping away to the eye and starting to close a little on that race-leading car. So Luke Constantine out of Chessons. brother Tom dabbling in Ginetta Juniors at the back end of last year. Very much a motorsport family. And there is James Chisholm, the man from pole position. Good little battle going on lower down the order though here. 98 Terry Durden and James Constantine, last year's championship runner-up, behind him and struggling to find a way past. Ends up having to go wide at the elbow, looking for a clear bit of circuit, not really finding it. Into paddock come the race leaders. The laps tick down. There's the change, it's happened. James Constantine has got ahead then of Terry Durden, another driver in this race, and it's an intriguing career switch. Former World Touring Car racer Harry Volkard, and Harry adapting to a different discipline, a different format of racing, and compared to some of the things he's raced over the years, a relative lack of power, but adapting nicely. Bend hairpin once more, then comes Luke Constantine, and it looks as though now he's on target for the win, because there's little that James Chisholm has by way of retaliation. They come down the hill again, set the cars up, turn right. Across the loose at paddock is there. Bradley Durden is under attack. It's Harry Volkard behind him, and then Durden Senior, Bradley's father Terry, next in the queue. Right for the joker goes James Chisholm. Needs to make a very good joker, and he needs Luke Constantine to have a really slow one when it's his turn in order to try to buy back any lost time. There's the leader, and now that he's got absolutely no pressure behind, Luke Constantine can just get his head down and try and charge away. Brakes late, wheel lifting, going into the elbow that time. The Swift Sport Rallycross Championship, an absolutely ideal starting point. You learn about the format of Rallycross, you learn about the racing, and because everybody has the same base car, it's down to your driving ability to get the most out of it. Perfect starting place before you graduate to Super Nationals or Supercars. Right, there's the leader, Luke Constantine, on this last lap, going for the joker. So the idea is, in some cases, get it out of the way at the very start, especially if you're on the outside line, but in his case, leave it to the very end and hope you've done enough, and he has. He gets the lead back, just hangs onto it as he comes off the joker, but the gap has certainly come down. So now James Chisholm, who was about 4 lengths back before he jokered, is all over the leader like a rash. Out of the devil's elbow once more. Is he going to be able to make a move heading up the hill? And keep an eye to Max Weatherly, who's almost with them in 3rd place. Weatherly jokered early, side by side for the race lead. If these two trip over each other, that would play right into the hands of Max Weatherly. Max attack in 3rd. Down the hill they come. It's 3 for the lead with really only 1 corner to go, and it's this one into paddock. It looks as though Luke Constantine has done enough. There's the checkered flag. He's up the curb, and it's a win for Luke Constantine. James Chisholm takes 2nd and Max Weatherly takes 3rd. Those 3 covered by under a second, with David Watt 4th, James Constantine 5th, and Harry Volkard rounds out the top 6. Great start to the season, really competitive racing. Poor old Don McLeod, the man last home after his travails on the opening lap, but a great 3-way battle. Luke Constantine comes out on top in round 1.
Well, talk about making your mark as a senior Swift debut, winning that race. I am, of course, with Luke Constantine. Huge congratulations. You must be absolutely thrilled with that result.
Yeah, I'm buzzing. You know, it was a really good race. It's always been tight today with 4 really lads. Really close racing. 4 of us could have won it today. Nothing between us all day, so I feel really lucky to have won. I picked up a puncher on my rear right throughout the race. I was struggling with the back end of it, trying to step out, but I managed and we won, so I'm really over the moon with that.
Well, talk about doing it in style for your senior debut. I mean, that makes it even more sweet, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's really good to carry on how we were doing last year. You know, finishing the last 2 rounds off with 2 wins. I'm glad to continue that good run of form, so hopefully we can keep it up until the end of the season.
Yeah, as you say, it's really, really competitive. It's going to be a competitive year, and any points are going to be so invaluable, aren't they?
Yeah, most definitely, yeah. You know, there's all the lads out here, really good drivers, so I feel really lucky to be on the top step today, so yeah, really thrilled. And
always great to be competing and racing at the home of Rallycross. This is a special place, isn't it, Lydden Hill?
Oh yeah, it is. It's one of my favourite circuits to be here, especially on this nice day. it's better than it raining. So yeah, really happy. Yeah.
Well done to you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Rallycross never stands still. 2 new categories launched this weekend, one for the all 4 minis. Again, it's a relatively low-cost way of getting into the sport, but a 4-wheel drive Minis delivering plenty of entertainment. David Bell has for many a season been one of the men to beat in the BMW Mini Rallycross Championship, and he's carried on that form in the all-4 Mini Rallycross Championship, winning the final from Martin Hawkes and Adrian Turner, coming home in 3rd place. And perhaps even more futuristic, the Electro final. From the outside, they look like Fiat 500s, but electric power rather than combustion engines, meaning these are real pocket rockets. Hal Ridge led the way initially, but then came under attack from former touring car racer Dan Welch, son of Rallycross hero John Welch. Dan put himself into the race lead, a lead he was never to lose. They were close, they were competitive, and they were very quick as Dan Welch made history ahead of Thomas Fieldgotts and Hal Ridge, Charlie Fraser 4th, and Rob Gibson in 5th place. Lights go green, Group B 4-wheel drive Rallycross cars blast away from the line, and it is Steve Harris who hits the front ahead of Derek Jobb in the oh-so-impressive Ford RS200. There's a great mix of machinery in this category, and Andy Grant is another man on his toes as he tries to hustle around the outside of Derek Jobb. There you can see the Escort just ahead of the Focus, and the X-Wheel Gollop car goes to the inside, 2 wheels up the curb and onto the grass. Grant can't find a way by, and Derek Jobb sticks out his elbows and hangs onto the plate, or does he, because Andy Grant, the garage owner, round the outside at the hairpin, tries the outside, then tries to get the switch back the inside line, and he's done it, coming out of the corner. He's worked hard for that. Grant through paddock, 2nd now. For the race lead, they are nose to tail. Grant into the back of Steve Harris, riding with him. Bouncing over the loose, grabs a gear. Back to the tarmac, lines up, has a look at the inside line, but he can't do it there at the elbow. Steve Harris way out wide as he heads now up Hairy Hill, heading into the North Bend hairpin, goes a little bit wide. The RS200 from the mid-80s about to be gobbled up by the Focus. Andy Grant hurtles downhill, he's got the inside line, but through he goes into the race lead. For many seasons in the Supercar class, Andy Grant tried to hang on to more modern opposition, had all sorts of dramas with that car, but it's great to see him going so well. The Group B 4-wheel drive category here, pitching cars of the 90s, the noughties, and even the 80s and before, because there's the RS200 in the colours that Mark Rennison carried to win the British Championship. But Andy Grant's Ford Focus going really nicely as now, look, Derek Jobb under attack from Don Flickney. The checkered flag is at the ready. It's going to be honours in round 1 of the Group B and 4-wheel drive Retro Rallycross Championship 2. Andy Grant, he comes into paddock, accelerates now up towards the line, and it is a win for Andy Grant from Steve Harris in 2nd. And who's going to get 3rd as they head up towards the line? Derek Jobb is ahead at the moment, but Bradley Sampson, I think, is going to be able to wriggle away by as they head up towards the timing line.
Yeah, I'm thrilled to bits, thrilled for the championship, thrilled for Lydden. They put a fantastic day on, and it all starts again on Monday.
The juniors were as dramatic as ever as the stars of the future of Rallycross did battle in the opening round of the championship. Max Langmaid had been fastest in Q1, Caitlin May quickest in Q2 and Q3, and the pair were side by side into the first corner. May just ahead until Langmaid tried to go round the outside. They both ran wide, but it was Caitlin May that kept the lead. Ultimately though, she dropped back, the order shuffled ahead. There was some great racing in the pack, but at the head of the field, it was Owen Robbins that would come through to take the win from Will Ovenden 2nd and Corey Paget in 3rd. Super Nationals were lively as well. There was contact at the first corner with Slavomir Volok being accosted by Jason Bleasdale. The BMW just holding on. Bleasdale himself came under attack from Stuart Emery. But although Slavomir Volok was the man who would take the checkered flag first, he was given a 5-second time penalty for gaining an unfair advantage. So Jason Bleasdale took the win from Ludo Hermans, and Slavomir Volok down in 3rd place. Lights go green to get the retro Rallycross final underway, and a dreadful start by Steve Cousins. The man who was quickest in Q1 and Q2 must have left the handbrake on. That was a woeful start. He's got a lot of work to do now, because Terry Moore in the Mini, quickest in Q3, runs on the back of Tony Lynch in the Toyota MR2. The very experienced, very successful Tony Lynch, who runs under the Team Geriatric banner, leads the way despite locking up as he gets to the Devil's Elbow. That car, a former rally car from Scotland, converted into a rallycross machine, turns into the hairpin at the Devil's Elbow. But Terry Moore's Mini, which goes a long, long, long way back through the history books to how Minis looked in the late 70s, early 80s in rallycross, in the days when you had just 2 classes, and Minis ruled the roost in the smaller engine division before the Fiesta came along. Terry Moore right there in the dust as he comes then out of the chicane. Steve Cousins is now getting on with the job. Look, he's there in 3rd place and bringing down that gap as the 3 leaders concertina across the loose section of the circuit. The other car in the race is the Mark 1 Escort of Simon Hart that runs in the Haynes of Maidstone colours that were carried by John Taylor to success in Britain and in Europe. But the Escort is dropping away as Lynch, Moore and Cousins as one climb the hill. Toyota, Mini, Citroën AX, and Steve Cousins tries to make a move on the inside line. Terry Moore tries to make a move round the outside, gets a bit of a squeeze. The fishtailing Toyota just about hangs on to its place, or does it? Terry Moore very bravely on the outside, cuts across, he's done it, diving towards paddock, dives through, really good move that. So Terry Moore in the Mini leads, Tony Lynch is second. Can he fight back? He's up the curb, look, coming out of the chicane. And down towards Chessons once more. Retro Rallycross does not do joker laps. They didn't have them in period, they don't do them now. So it's a straightforward race, if you like, compared to other of the categories. But Terry Moore in that Mini, now that he's got himself into the lead, is looking to try to get away from the opposition. Lynch is all sideways as he tries to fend off Cousins. Steve very quick in a straight line. Tony Lynch very good through the corners. They give Steve Cousins a sniff here, and he's going to be right past Lynch. So Tony needs to make that car as wide as possible. New colour scheme for 2021 from Tony Lynch's stable. Car looks immaculate, but look now, those two delaying one another for 2nd place. The leader, Terry Moore, is getting away. Out of the chicane. The lead gap building all the time as they head down towards Chessons Drift once more. Named after the constructor and first owner of the circuit, Bill Chesson. And the fishtailing Mini hangs on to the lead. There for 2nd and 3rd places, though. Tony Lynch just hangs on to the place because Steve Cousins looks like he's got the pace. Were he to get past Lynch, what could he do about the race leader? Lynch sideways, coming out of the elbow. Cousins alongside, gets squeezed onto the grass. Eventually he has to lift, but Tony Lynch being absolutely merciless there in his defence. He came right across the road and Steve Cousins had to take to more and more of the lawn. Downhill they come. Great battle between the two. And while all that's going on, so the race leader is getting away. Terry Moore up front, starts on his last lap, but it looks as though he's going to be good for the win. Tony Lynch hanging on to that 2nd place somehow. And Steve Cousins is there in 3rd, and he's going to do a bit of head scratching now to work out how he can get back ahead. It was a bad start that did for him. Steve has shown better pace than anybody through the day, fastest in 2 of the 3 qualifying runs. This time he keeps it on the black bit, so does Tony Lynch, goes up to the hairpin. Steve Cousins to the outside line. Can he cut across to the in as they come out? The so sideways Toyota darts across the road. Downhill, checkered flag is at the ready, and Terry Moore is going to come through for a great win as Steve Cousins tries the outside line, breaks late, runs out of grit, runs out of room. And it means Terry Moore wins the Retro Rallycross final ahead of Tony Lynch and Steve Cousins in 3rd after a great fight, with 4th going to Simon Hart. Oh, what a battle.
Well, what a cracking race that proved to be in the final of the Retros. Let's have a chat, shall we? Tony Lynch. What a battle. Congratulations on 2nd, but you and Steve Cousins, God, that was good racing.
Me and Steve Cousins have been battling for 12 months, never mind 12 minutes. It's, you know, it's basically, it's quicker than me in a straight line. The car's a lot lighter than this one. That particular challenge just then with Steve, obviously he was on the grass there, and I think, and you know, in some ways you owe an apology, but in the other ways, I held my line, I did nothing wrong, you know, but let's be honest, you're here to try and do your best, aren't you? And so I'm sure Steve would have done exactly the same in that position. But if I'd have let him past, it'd have been in the distance. So I had to stick to it.
The grid is formed for the BMW Mini final. Dave Bellaby fastest in Q2 and Q3. David Ellis fastest in Q1 with Bradley Turner, Ben Sayer, the semi-final winners. Lights go green and it is blast off, and Bradley Turner from pole in the black car just makes the better start to hit the front as they get to Chessons. Those on the inside of the grid go for the normal line. Those on the outside are able to blend off to the left and get the Joker out of the way early on. Bradley Turner leads the pack, but Dave Bellaby in daughter Drew's car, new mum Drew Bellaby, so she's not racing for the moment. It's up to Dad to try and uphold family honour. 1, 2, 3, Steve Brown, the former rally driver, he's making good progress. Number 7, Tom Constantine, heads uphill. Bradley Turner, the race leader then, he won semi-final 1. Is he going to be able to maintain this gap? Ben Sayer is the man in second place, graduate of the Junior Rallycross Championship. But Dave Bellaby is going to be the man to watch, I think, when everybody has served their jokers, because he's going to be very definitely in the mix, fighting for race honours. Turner versus Sayer as they come uphill. Again, everybody with identical cars, so it's down to how well you drive it, how well you can engineer it to get the best out of the BMW Mini. Supercharged engines winding away as they drop downhill. Leader Turner goes for the Joker lap. Second place Ben Sayer goes for the Joker lap. This will bring Dave Bellaby back into the equation. You see how tight that chicane is. There's Bellaby on the inside from third to second to the race lead. He's done it. Dave Bellaby goes through. He hits the front then. 87, Dave Bellaby leads the pack on this, the final lap of the race. He gets a tap in the tail from Bradley Turner, who brakes as late as he possibly can for the Devil's Elbow, tags the back of the experienced Dave Bellaby. But as they climb the hill once more, it looks as though Dave has done enough. Turner is second, Ben Sayer third. The checkered flag is at the ready, and it is going to be another win for a Bellaby in the Minis, but it is Dave Bellaby who takes the checkered flag, Bradley Turner second, and Ben Sayer in third. Fourth goes the way of Darren Bleasdale ahead of Andy Hawkes, with Stephen Brown in sixth place. So Dave Bellaby using his years of experience, all of that guile to good effect, and he comes through to score honours in the opening round of the BMW Mini Rallycross Championship.
Well, I'm joined now by the winner of the BMW Minis, Dave Bellaby. Huge congratulations. Can I say, pretty inspirational move and a tactical move, taking that Joker when you did.
I didn't have a right lot of option. I wouldn't have made the first corner, and I knew that car 61 on the inside was very quick, which he showed then. I just gathered enough pace up. He was having to defend early in the race, whereas I didn't. Yeah, it played into my hands, but coming out, it was very close. When he took his Joker, I really had to defend and use my wrinkles rather than laugh lines.
But isn't it great to be back racing?
Oh, it's always good to be back, isn't it? It's always good. We're missing Drew. She's had a baby, so she would be in that car, but yeah, it's all good.
I think you've done her proud, to be honest with you. You've done her proud. Well done to you.
I'll try and hold our corner.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
The Super Retro final is about to get underway as the lights go to green. Great mix of car in this, but one of them, the Ford Escort Mark 1 of Josh Sturkens, makes a dreadful start. So Josh Sturkens falls back into the pack. The Lancia Stratos of John Cross hits the front then as the cars work their way to the elbow for the first time. Barry Stewart, semi-final 2 winner in the Porsche, ahead of the semi-final 1 winner, Josh Sturkens, and Sturkens crawling all over the back of Barry Stewart, which is playing into the hands of John Cross in the Lancia. David Ewan in the Fiesta goes through on the back of the spectacular Vince Bristow in the BMW. Great fight going on for second spot. Barry Stewart in the Porsche 911 just keeping your Sturkens at bay. Both cars, of course, two-wheel drive. The tails wag, and the Lancia Stratos still clearing the lead. Cross building the gap. Great variety that you have in Super Retro. So it's Lancia, Porsche, Ford, BMW in the top 4 places. Josh Sturkens in the Escort, closing up onto the back of Barry Stewart once more as they accelerate now onto the loose, but he goes a little bit wide, finds all the dust, loses traction, hangs onto a mega tank slapper, does Jos Sturkens. That does not help at all in his quest to get onto terms with Barry Stewart. Out of the chicane, fourth Bristow, still sideways, Stewart fending off Sturkens still. Race leader John Cross getting away. Fight on for second place, nose to tail, Porsche versus Ford again. Barry Stewart just keeping Sturkens behind him. Of course, that Porsche has got plenty of grunt in a straight line. The Escort good on the brakes, good through the tight corners, but no way through on the outside at the Devil's Elbow. John Cross, hugely experienced rallycrosser, had a long break, came back into the sport a few years ago, and he leads the way, and it looks as though, after years of reliability glitches with the Lancia Stratos, it's all going to hold together for him here as Sturkens almost joins our cameraman. Way wide, coming out of the hairpin. Checkered flag at the ready for John Cross then to win the first Super Retro Rallycross final of the season. Second, Barry Stewart after a race-long battle with Jos Sturkens. Vince Bristow fourth ahead of David Ewing, and then Paul Pascoe rounds out the top six. So a great drive by John Cross. He comes out on top.
Well, another super race in the Super Retros, and one man in the thick of the action was Barry Stewart. Well done for second, but what fantastic racing.
Absolutely awesome. John's been chasing him all day. I think he's turned the wick up, so I couldn't catch him, and my main component was Jos Sturkens, who wherever I looked in my mirror, he was there. And yeah, really good racing. And looking forward to Monday. Yeah,
you mentioned there Jos Sturkens. He was piling on the pressure. You had to keep your nerve and indeed your cool to keep that second place.
Yeah, absolutely. I could see he's appearing, and it's like you're not having that space, so I just close the space down, and that's all you can do.
Well, it certainly bodes well, doesn't it, for the year, just to show how competitive already. People are really kind of sending some clear messages, even in round one.
Yeah, well, points make prizes, so you've got to be up the front to be in it. If you drop a round to start with, you're hard pushed to catch it up.
Well done you, great result.
Thank you very much.
The grid is formed for the Supercar final. This is the real focus of attention. The fastest cars, star drivers, it is all action, and in terms of picking a winner, it is wide open. Mark Donnelly then, the man lining up on pole position with Julian Godfrey, Ollie O'Donovan with him at the front, Tristan Avondon, Robert Svitolz on row 2, Derek Tohill, Conor McCluskey, Mike Seller, row 3. The lights are about to change as we go racing. Donnelly with dramas doesn't get off the line. That's the reigning champion out of it, and it is going to be Ollie O'Donovan who hits the front as they dive down towards Chessons for the first time. Mark Donnelly limps away, trying to drive round and get points if nothing else, but look at that, a battle pack of 4. Godfrey is second, Avondon runs third, and Derek Tohill is the man from the third row of the grid in fourth place, but Double OD, Ollie O'Donovan leads the way, the Fiesta, ahead of the older Fiesta of multiple champion Julian Godfrey. He's under attack from multiple Super National champion Tristan Avondon, and then Triple Irish champ Derek Tohill next in the queue. So you've got some real star drivers in that group. Now remember, they've managed to gap the opposition because the rest jokered on the opening lap. These drivers have got to serve the joker yet. And amongst those to keep an eye on, number 126, the 18-year-old Latvian Robert Svitolz, who's come out of the junior categories. Tristan Avondon bails out of that leading gaggle. He goes for the joker. Mark Donnelly has parked it, so he's out of the race. And here, champions both, Ollie O'Donovan and Julian Godfrey. Fiestas both, admittedly old and new. And O'Donovan leads the way. Up Hairy Hill once again. Julian Godfrey is there in second place. O'Donovan had that clash with Andy Scott early on in the day. Julian Godfrey has just been getting on with life. Had all sorts of mechanical woes here at the back end of last season. But he's bouncing back, and that car just goes on and on and on. It's not exactly the youngest on the grid, but it's still a very quick car. Now there is Robert Svitolz then, the Citroen, through the loose section. He's done the joker. Now he's storming his way back into the mix. As all of the cars from that leading gaggle have to joker, he can either buy back time or even better, buy back a place. Now O'Donovan is out on his own. Looks like Derek Tohill is in second place in the background. Yes, he is. And Robert Svitolz is third. And Svitolz is driving the wheels off that. First time out in a supercar. And the Latvian driver who managed to get around all the travel dramas last year to come over and take part in the championship. We've lost Julian Godfrey. Godfrey has parked it. Julian Godfrey out of the race. So there, Conor McCluskey comes downhill. That's Robert Svitol's going through paddock. He's closing onto the back of Derek Turhill as Ollie O'Donovan now goes for the Joker. Now, where is this going to put him in relation to Robert Svitol's then? The answer is behind him. Svitol's has done it. Fantastic. From the second row of the grid, belying his lack of experience in a supercar, Robert Svitol's then hits the front, throws the car round the devil's elbow. He gets back onto the power. He makes the climb up the hill now. Ollie O'Donovan is the man with all the pressure. What can he do to find a way through into the race lead to win round one of the Five Nations British Rallycross Championship as he comes once more through paddock? Robert Svitol's then has driven brilliantly all day long. He may not have been quickest in any of the qualifying rounds, but he is in front when it counts. So O'Donovan, he's won the championship before. He is very definitely one of the stars of the supercar class. Can he live up to that bill matter now? Can he close and pass Svitol's? Sideways around the devil's elbow, trying to keep up the revs, keep up the momentum all the time. Third now is Tristan Avedon as Svitol's lets the back of the car wag as he comes up towards the hairpin. Smoke pouring off the tyres as O'Donovan gets the grunt down the hill. Round one of the championship, round two tomorrow here at Lydden. So it's a great weekend of action, great weekend of mileage as well for the drivers, a double header to kick off the season. Svitol's then with the water squirting onto the screen to try to make sure he's got some visibility, turns his way out of the devil's elbow, but it looks as though this is now going to be a win because if anything he's getting away from rather than being caught by Ollie O'Donovan. Robert Svitol's, who first came to prominence only a few seasons back in this championship in the junior class, and he comes now down towards the chicane at paddock. You can see how much commitment O'Donovan is putting into this. He is absolutely on the ragged edge. Checkered flag as Robert Svitol's then comes through to score victory in the first round of the championship, and he is absolutely delighted. Ollie O'Donovan takes second, and still the battles rage on. Tristan Avedon makes it home for third ahead of Derek Turhill, and Mike Seller just fends off Conor McCluskey for fifth place. Wow, what a race and what a surprise in many respects. We knew that Robert Svitol's was going to be a man to watch, but I don't think anybody would have put money on him being the winner of this opening round of the championship. Robert Svitol's it is who draws first blood here at Lydden.
Well, I'm with Ollie O'Donovan. What a finish, what a race. Talk me through it. You were there on the track. It was a fantastic, fantastic round one.
It was a great race, good into the day. With less than 1 minute to go, I didn't think I was going to be there. The car was still in bits. I told you I was in it and ready to go. Dropped it on the wheels, down to the line, made a good start. Surprised I got Julian off the line, and I thought I put in 5 or 6 good laps. But when I came out and I saw young Vettels in front of me, I thought, wow, he must have driven the wheels off that car. You know, for an 18-year-old, first time in the supercar, I think he did very, very well. I had absolutely no problems in my race.
Well, I have to say to you, Ollie, you're such a gentleman. You were the first to go over there to congratulate Robert. A very special day for him and a great tussle between the two of you, especially in the closing stages of that round.
Absolutely, yeah. But I mean, it's brilliant to see young kids coming in, having a go and putting it up to those old boys, you know. So, no, I'm really happy for him and his family. They put a lot into Rallycross and really happy. And I'm very happy with second.
And there is the man of the day. Robert Svitol's wins here at Lydden Hill, and you can see how much that means to him.
Well, huge elation down here. Let's just grab a word, shall we, with the winner. Robert, smiling there. Huge congratulations. How are you feeling?
I don't know what to say. I was there from the start. I stalled on coming on to the grid. I don't know, it hasn't been the easiest day. We had some technical issues and just by learning all the time, and then in the final, since lap 1, I felt that, okay, I have the speed, I feel the car, I can go. And lap by lap, oh my God, I don't know. In the last 3 laps, I saw Ollie in the mirrors checking all the time, how far he is. And then spotter just told me, keep it tight, keep it tight. I thought, why keep it tight? It's a gap there, I can go. But yeah, and I had, I think, 2 moments down here when the car snapped so much and then gone into sideways, and oh no, I don't have words.
Huge emotion. I mean, this is your prize for this year, and you've really shown the guys how it's done. It got close at the end, as you said, but you managed to hold on. You're a cool customer, buddy. Well done. You must be thrilled.
Thank you. Yeah, today I just got into this car and did my first run. Yeah, thank you. I have to say thanks to boys, mechanics who worked so hard to fix some issues we had. Thanks to my family, and thanks for all supporters who are coming down here support. Yeah.
I have to say, Lydden Hill is going to hold very special memories for you.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
Well done.
And there, 18-year-old Robert Svitol's, you can see how much emotion there is in all of this. What a result, what a drive, as Robert Svitol's celebrates here at Lydden. Round winner in the opening event of the championship.
So what a start we've had to the weekend here at Lydden Hill, with plenty of action and plenty of thrills and spills from round one.